Welcome to the Aaron Harber Show. This is part one of a special two-part series on Peace Jam and the Peace Jam Foundation. Join me are the founders and leaders of Peace Jam. Ivan Suvanjev, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting us.
And Dawn Engel as well. Dawn, thank you for being here as well.
It's a great pleasure to be here with you.
Well, it's an honor to have both of you. I want to talk about Peace Jam. Of course, it's a Colorado and national institution for about, 2 decades?
That's right.
There's so much I want to cover, and I know we've been trying to get together for about 10 years, so I'm just delighted that you finally made it. And this show, I should tell you, is dedicated to two people. One is my mother, Adrienne Harber, who was involved in the peace movement for many, many decades and is no longer with us. And the other is Ann Deschanel. And Ann was a good friend of hers, also in Boulder, who's very involved in the peace movement. And both are gone, and when I was with Ann's family at her service, I said, you know, we need to do more programs about peace, and they all agreed. So that's one of the reasons that you two are here. So let's talk about Peace Jam, and first of all, how it got started, because I think that's a great story too. So Yvonne, I'm going to start with you.
Basically just watching. I lived by North High School, corner of 30th and Wyandotte, watching young people running amok with guns. Walked down there and said, what are you doing with guns? And they said, we got a business. I said, yeah, I bet you got a business. You're 15 years old. I haven't seen you go to school. I know what business you're in. So we kept talking, and I said, to run a business, you got to be a pretty smart fellow, whether or not you go to school. Doesn't matter. And so we got talking, and I said, well, let's see what you guys know about the world. I asked them about who's president of the United States, and they said, we don't know, we don't care, because he does not represent our interest. That was their exact words. And I thought, okay, you guys have gone to school for something. But they knew who Cesar Chavez was. We tripped over the topic of South Africa and Desmond Tutu, and the young men lit up. They said, oh yeah, that little Tutu guy, he stood up against the guns of apartheid, and he wasn't afraid. He stood in front of the crowds. He kept crowds from going nuts, and he helped bring us to the end of apartheid. And I said, what did you like about the guys? Well, he said, well, he was nonviolent. I said, well, he never carried a gun. So what are you doing carrying a gun? And that was the genesis.
That's
as simple as that.
Great story. And of course, you two are married.
Yes.
And you were married by Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
That's right.
So tell me about that. That's just that's incredible. Then congratulations, by the way. It's been a while.
It's been a while, but you know, it's interesting because we started after he had this big idea. Peace Jam is Ivan's idea. Then he convinced me to help him. Then we went to the Dalai Lama. He said yes. Then he gave us.
I mean, you didn't just go. You went to India.
We went to India
to see the Dalai Lama.
That's
you didn't
right.
just go next door to the Dalai. How did you get an audience with the Dalai Lama? I mean, that's not easy to do.
It's very hard to do, but you know, before I moved to Colorado, I used to work for the U.S. Congress, and when I was one of the first volunteers for the International Campaign for Tibet, before people knew who the Dalai Lama was, before he won the Nobel Peace Prize. So I did know the people around him. We were able to get an audience. We had to borrow money from friends. We flew to Dharamsala, India. He loved the idea. He said yes, but he said you have to invite other Nobel Peace Prize winners as well. So he gave us a list of several who he thought would be great, and one of them was Desmond Tutu. So the way we got Desmond Tutu to get involved is just cold calling, honest to God.
It was like this is before internet and all the rest of it, so I'm going through the yellow pad calling South African. Can you plug me into Archbishop Desmond Tutu? You're crazy, man. And I hang up the phone. But you know, my wife's talking about working in Congress. Just quickly, she's a feminist icon. She was the youngest woman ever appointed chief of staff for a U.S. senator in the history of the United States.
Wow.
So when she talks about this stuff, she knows what she's talking about.
Which senator, if I may ask?
I worked on the Republican
She's a
side of the
Republican.
aisle. I worked for Senator Kasten. I worked for Congressman Jack Kemp.
Sure.
And
Jack Kemp, by the way, has been a guest on my show.
oh, fantastic!
I'll send
Yeah.
you a link to that. Of course, he's no longer with us.
Yes,
but
I know.
He
It's-
was a great guest.
He was a great quarterback, too.
Yeah, well, and a fairly good vice presidential candidate.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was, actually.
It's a tremendous loss. I mean, I think we need more people like Jack Kemp involved in politics.
Especially in the Republican Party, maybe?
Yeah, right. Right now, they would desperately use Jack
He would look
Kemp.
good on that stage compared to a lot of the folks up there.
He
I
would
think
look
everybody
great.
could use a Jack Kemp right about now.
But you know, the thing I love about the story for us is that it's unlikely people. Like someone came and talked to me when I was working on the Republican side of the aisle. They didn't prejudge me. They just told me about the human rights situation in Tibet. And I cared, and I was a volunteer. As a result of that, two very unlikely people, I mean, we're both originally from Detroit. We're just factory worker kids from Detroit. Ended up having a big idea, getting the Dalai Lama to say yes, and then getting 8 other Nobel Prize winners to say yes, just cold calling them. And then within 10 years, we're in South Africa, and Desmond Tutu is marrying us in his church in Cape Town, South Africa. So
wow.
to answer your question, it was extraordinary.
Now, how did you get a hold of him? You were cold calling, say, you say who you are, and I have a message from the Dalai Lama, or what? How did that work?
Well, it was like, hi, this is Dawn from Denver. You don't know me, but we have a big idea, and the Dalai Lama said yes, and we want to come and meet with you. And it's before we had any funding, before we had any curriculum, before we had anything. We just had a big idea. The Dalai Lama said yes, and based on that and our enthusiasm and our tenacity, we were able to get 8 Nobel laureates to be our board. We're not even on the board of the foundation. We wanted it to be their organization. And now we have 13 Nobel Peace Prize winners on our board.
All right, so tell me about your mission.
So really what Peace Jam is all about is unleashing the human potential for goodness. We really believe that everybody has greatness in them. Everybody can do something to help someone else. People don't see themselves that way. So we're about empowering people to become effective agents of change, giving them the tools and the role models and the training and the guidance and the inspiration. We want to inspire and uplift, and then we want to unleash this human potential all around the world. And so we're doing it in 3 ways. We have our youth programming that's been going on for 20 years. We've had over 1 million young people participate in our year-long programming from 39 countries around the world, and we're continuing to expand. We now have a new Nobel Legacy film series, which we can talk about, and millions of people are now being touched by the Nobel laureates through these films. It's very inspirational. And we also have our 1 Billion Acts of Peace campaign. Google, Wells Fargo, a lot of people are coming together to support 1 Billion Acts of Peace campaign for 1 Billion Acts of Peace by the end of the year 2019.
Okay, I think we have a clip, I think,
Yes.
on the 1 Billion Acts of Peace. So we're going to roll that right now and take a look at that as well.
You have the power to tackle the toughest issues facing humanity today.
It's easier than you think. You can start with something as simple as
make a lunch for a homeless person.
Pick up waste in your community.
Participate in a cultural event that is of a different culture.
Use your talents to help your community.
Each simple act is just one building block in the creation of peace.
peace in your community, peace in your region of the world.
One building block in the creation of justice and human rights for all.
And that is what creates lasting peace.
13 Nobel Peace Prize winners are leading this ambitious campaign and showing us the way. All you have to do is log your first act of peace.
All right, we're going to be back in a moment. We're going to talk about the Nobel Legacy Film Series with Yvonne and Dawn in just a moment.
For information on how to help promote civil and mutually respectful discourse and support expansion of the distribution of our programs, please email info@harbertv.com.
Hi, I'm Aaron Harber, host of The Aaron Harber Show. For information about the program, who our upcoming guests and topics are, and ways you can participate, please go to our website. That's harbertv.com. And most of all, thanks for watching.
I'm Mary Robinson, former President of Ireland.
Hi, I'm Jim Cameron, Director of Avatar.
I'm Christina Johnson, former Undersecretary of Energy.
Hi, I'm Oliver Stone.
Hi, I'm Mike Peters. I'm the creator of Mother Goose and Grimm.
Watch The Aaron Harber Show.
I would encourage you to watch The Aaron Harber Show. It's good fun.
Watch The Aaron Harber Show because he's a really cool guy.
Please watch The Aaron Harber Show, on which I do appear.
I want you to watch The Aaron Harber Show. Grimmy watches it every day.
I'm Aaron Harber, host of The Aaron Harber Show. You can follow the show on Twitter and find us on Facebook to get all the latest updates, see behind-the-scenes photos, and make comments and ask me questions. You can see episodes before their TV broadcast, so like the show today.
Your opinions, ideas, suggestions, and criticisms related to guests, topics, questions, or the host are welcome. Please send an email to producer@harbertv.com.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking about Peace Jam with its founders and leaders. Yvonne and Dawn are here with me today. And we just, before the break, saw one clip. I want to talk more about the Nobel Film Series, the Legacy Film Series. How did this come about? Of course, your background, Yvonne, has been in film production. I mean, you used to...
Not really.
Oh, don't be so modest.
Well, no, it's just used to picking up a camera. And
isn't that what filmmakers do?
Well, I wasn't a filmmaker. In the 70s, I wanted to film some bands, and I shot film of The Clash and some other punk bands and whatever, and did that. And one of the things we bonded on when we met was that, gee, wouldn't it be nice to make film? And that was how it started. And plus, just simply put, the Nobel Legacy Film Series is another teaching tool for us to use as a communication tool around the world, so people can see what we're doing and why we're doing it.
So yeah, Dawn, tell me more about what you think the film series will accomplish, and how is it structured?
Well, he's being too modest. I mean, he made his first documentary film in 1979, and he's insisted that we film every single thing that we've done. So for 20 years, we have filmed everything, and we have the largest repository of footage for these 13 Nobel Peace Prize winners anywhere in the world. And so it was Yvonne's idea.
How that happened, too, was we were interviewing Rigoberta Menchú in Guatemala in 1995, the summer of 1995, and I asked her, what was the mistake your movement made? And she said, what we did not do is capture ourselves doing the work. We did not document ourselves. And I looked at her, I said, okay, everything, film.
That's great. You know, I'm going to interrupt the story about the Legacy series. Let's just quickly tell me about the 13. I think, you know, that, first of all, to put together 13 Nobel Prize winners, Peace Prize winners, that's extraordinary, an extraordinary accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And obviously you told kind of the story of how you got started, but talk about the 13 and so people know who is on board.
Well, of course, we have the Dalai Lama on our board. He was our founding member, and Desmond Tutu, who married us. We also have Jody Williams from the International Campaign to Ban Landmines, Rigoberta Menchú from Guatemala, Mayan Indian. We have...
And she's been in Colorado a number of times.
That's right, that's right.
Most of these people have.
Yes, oh yeah, we brought them, still we had the largest gathering of Nobel Peace Prize winners ever held anywhere in the world outside of Oslo, Norway, still to this day, and that was us for our 10th anniversary.
Amazing. Who else is on the list?
President Oscar Arias of Costa Rica, President Jose Ramos Horta from East Timor, they're ex-presidents.
Yes, Betty Williams and Marie Corrigan Maguire from Northern Ireland, and the amazing Lema Bowie from Liberia, Shirin Ebadi from Iran. It's an international, only one American actually on our board, and the whole program is very international as a result.
That's extraordinary. Okay, back to the film series. So
yes.
Tell me about the Nobel Legacy, a little more about the Legacy film series and what you've done so far and what you want to do next.
Yes, absolutely. Yvonne said, let's do something with this footage. We created a way to capture the essence and the spirit and the cutting edge work of these amazing souls. With a series of films, we're releasing one film every year. They premiere in the Monte Carlo Film Festival every June. And then Google Play does an exclusive promo of them, and then we have worldwide distribution, and every year a new film. We've had the Desmond Tutu film, very successful. We have Rivers of Hope, a brand new film which just won 2 awards for Best Documentary Film at the Harlem International Film Festival and also at the World Humanitarian Film Festival in Indonesia. The films are doing great, and we have educational distribution for the films too. So we're reaching millions of people, uplifting them, inspiring them through the films, and also encouraging them to understand that it's possible to create change and that they can do it too.
It's amazing the concept of empowerment that you promulgate. Let's take a look. We have a trailer for Rivers of Hope. So let's take a look at that right now so that people can see it. So here's the trailer for the award-winning film, Rivers of Hope.
This is a story of Latin America as seen through the eyes of one man, someone who was taken away but then survived. One man who became a voice for the voiceless in Latin America. One man, artist and human rights defender Adolfo Pérez Esquivel.
Gracias a la vida que me has dado tanto.
Okay, that's just a taste of what you can see for Rivers of Hope. All right, so, I mean, to make, and you're doing this every year,
yes.
You're saying, I mean, to make a movie, I've been involved in the making of a number of really bad movies. I mean, even making a bad movie takes an extraordinary amount of time. Where do you find the time to do this?
Well, I think it's our blue-collar work ethic that we got from our parents who were factory workers.
Punch the clock.
Our dads did double shifts at the auto factories. I mean, we're hardworking, but we also have an incredibly talented team who work with us on each of the films. Some of them live here, some in different parts of the world, and people who are just devoted to this concept of sharing the spirit and the essence of these Nobel laureates with people worldwide.
It really helps us keep the costs down, and it really does something new for each region, the person we work with, and we spread it out.
Yeah.
As you do, so your plan is to do one for each of the laureates?
That's correct.
So what, 2 down, 11 to go?
That's right, 2 down, 11 to go.
Of course, you may be adding to that list as well.
This is true.
So is there any plan to add to the list? Are you inviting anyone else?
It's possible we may have 1 or 2 new Nobel Peace Prize winners joining us over the next year.
Okay, well, you can. I expect to get a advance news release of this, by the way, know before anyone else. One of the things when you look at film, when you look at how people communicate today, what are you finding in terms of how do you reach kids, especially in different countries? What's your strategy for that?
Well, it's really fortunate for us that we were actually approached by Google. We were doing a speech at the Social Innovation Summit in Silicon Valley, and someone from Google came up to us and said, I bow to you. You're doing exactly the work that I want to do in the world. I want to help. So we now have partners. We're in conversations with Facebook and Twitter and Cisco and Samsung, and so we're getting people who know how to communicate in this new way behind our 1 Billion Acts of Peace campaign. And we're on a great learning curve. And so small bite-sized bits is really how to communicate with young people. Everyone's moving towards tablets and phones, right? So it has to be quick, it has to be, everyone's moving to video. So it's great positioning for us. We already have the video skills, the filmmaking skills, and we already know our audience. We have worked with over 1 million youth. He's making silent commentary about the skills. So.
I just turned the camera on. That's all it is, turn the thing on.
But we also now have people who are in Silicon Valley who are advising us, and we have a YouTube show now, right? We have all these things that we're doing in bite-sized bits, because that's the format to reach more and more young people around the world.
I know, no one watches half-hour shows anymore, is what I'm constantly being told. All right, we're going to
do.
Well, thank you. All right, we're going to take our last break, and we'll be right back. This is, remember, part 1 of our special 2-part series.
For information on how to help promote civil and mutually respectful discourse and support expansion of the distribution of our programs, please email info@harbertv.com.
Hi, I'm Aaron Harber, host of The Aaron Harber Show. For information about the program, who our upcoming guests and topics are, and ways you can participate, please go to our website. That's harbertv.com. And most of all, thanks for watching.
I'm Mary Robinson, former President of Ireland.
Hi, I'm Jim Cameron, Director of Avatar.
I'm Christina Johnson, former Undersecretary of Energy.
Hi, I'm Oliver Stone.
Hi, I'm Mike Peters. I'm the creator of Mother Goose and Grimm.
Watch The Aaron Harber Show.
I would encourage you to watch the Aaron Harber Show. It's good fun.
Watch The Aaron Harber Show, because he's a really cool guy.
Please watch The Aaron Harber Show, on which I do appear.
I want you to watch the Aaron Harber Show. Grimmy watches it every day.
I'm Aaron Harber, host of The Aaron Harber Show. You can follow the show on Twitter and find us on Facebook to get all the latest updates, see behind-the-scene photos, and make comments and ask me questions. You can see episodes before their TV broadcast, so like the show today.
Your opinions, ideas, suggestions, and criticisms related to guests, topics, questions, or the host are welcome. Please send an email to producer@harbortv.com. Welcome back to the show. This is part one of our two-part series, and this is our final segment in our first show. And we're talking, of course, about Peace Jam. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, we've referred to it a little bit, is the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, between the foundation, between the two of you together, between you two individually, I mean, you've been nominated something like, what, 19 or 20 times? Is that?
15.
15. All right. Well, either way, it's a lot of time.
Yeah, we're the Susan Lucci of the Nobel Peace Prize.
I'm not sure if everyone will get that reference, but I do. So that was a great analogy, and it's nice to know someone's watching daytime TV still. So what would it mean to get the Nobel Prize? What kind of impact would that have on the organization?
It's already had a tremendous impact on our organization, actually. We are receiving more funding. We are really, it's been seen by the world, our 1 Billion Acts of Peace campaign, our body of work, as Nobel Prize worthy. We were one of the leading contenders for the Nobel Peace Prize this year. And one of our Nobel laureates already told us, we're going to nominate you again. I mean, they're dead set on us winning.
They're bent on getting us the Nobel Prize. We're nominated we'll be nominated every year from I don't know how long.
Until you get it.
Well, I don't really think we're going to ever win it, so.
But it's an incredible compliment. I mean, they believe in us. They believe in our work. They really think that we deserve to be on the same level as them and treated that way by the world. It's incredible. It feels impossible.
All right. Well, I predict you will get it. What impact would it have? How could it help you in your mission?
Well, one way it would help us, it would give us, the prize money itself is nice, but that amortizes very quickly when you have a business that isn't profit oriented. The one thing it would do is give us a platform to speak from, a larger platform to talk to people. I think that was one of the things that I was interested in. I feel that was my biggest interest in that.
Yeah, Desmond Tutu always says that before he won the Nobel Peace Prize, he would talk and talk, and people would kind of listen. But after he won the Nobel Peace Prize, every time he talked, it was like pearls of wisdom falling from his lips, right? So it just changes the way that people listen to you, and your message can be heard by more people more clearly.
Well, the prize money's not too shabby either. It's about $1 million.
That's right.
I mean, you can do a lot. You can make a fair number of films in the Nobel Legacy Film Series with $1 million.
And actually, if we ever do win, we're going to use it to reach more young people all around the world. That's our goal.
So, when it comes to reaching people, I mean, today in a lot of countries, it's difficult to reach people. What are some of the communication challenges that you're confronting today?
There's a language. There's always language. There's one of the things is the ability to get electronic signals in, whether it's from internet, and everybody seems in the third world, in South Africa at least, to have a cell phone. And that would be the communication that they use in trying to get information between Peace Jam and Africa can sometimes be very, very daunting. The same thing with all around the world, because not everybody's on our standard, or we're not on their standard, which is a problem.
For me, the biggest challenge is just that there's so much noise. There's so much information coming at people. And so getting them to actually know about you. And we're really lucky that we have partners who are helping us. We're now working with YouTube and with YouTube celebrities. We're it's not normal channels, right? It's like media is so divided up. So everybody's a brand and everybody has a following. And so working with people like that who will get their following to know about us. So it has to be done in a whole different way. But we have people we're working with right now who are giving us some great advice. And we're really excited about what we're going to be doing on mobile phones, the way that we're going to be, all these new ways that we're going to be reaching people.
And who are some, I know that you have a number of very well-known people outside of the laureates helping you. Who are some of those people, and what are the kind of things that they've done to help you, or that you hope they'll do in the future?
We have a supermodel, Jessica Stam, who has said she wants to be an ambassador for Peace Jam. A very famous actress from here in Colorado, Anna Sophia Robb, is also an ambassador for Peace Jam. And we have the points guy who advises business travelers on how to use their points. He's very well known. He's a huge following, and he is now one of our ambassadors. We're going to have a whole lot of ambassadors. We're going to have hundreds of ambassadors for Peace Jam, and that's the phase that we're moving into with the campaign now.
And what do you want them to do? If I'm an ambassador, what does that mean?
Tell everybody about the campaign. Just get the word out. So everybody who's a follower of you becomes a follower of the campaign.
So when you talk followers, are you also talking Twitter followers? Or
absolutely. I mean, we have over 600,000 followers already on social media. That's from 5,000 when we started a year ago to actually focus on this.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Over 100-fold increase in 1 year.
Yep.
That's extraordinary. How did you do that? What was your secret?
A lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work. But we were fortunate to get a grant from Google of Google AdWords, and $500,000 a year, and so to drive traffic to our website. And these are all things that I knew nothing about any of this 2 years ago. So we've really been learning. But we have 40,000 people coming to our website every day now from every single country around the world. And it's really that Google AdWords gift.
Yeah, Dawn's really happy with that. I've come along so far with the electronics. Like, she's happy that I can use the dishwasher, vacuum cleaner, other things. So I've learned that. So she's really happy. This has really worked.
In 20 years, we'll have you on a computer, maybe.
Yeah. She keeps telling me I'm great at it, so I'm keeping going.
A little positive reinforcement. I know we're running out of time. Let me, and maybe we can talk about this also in part 2, but
yes.
I'd be interested in what other organizations are you teaming up with or that you collaborate with?
Yes, we have over 150 other NGOs who have joined the campaign. We're building a huge network of members. We want to have hundreds of thousands of NGOs, but also cities, towns, universities, and businesses. We want everybody to come together, and we want to provide a platform where people can work together to solve problems. I mean, the 1 Billion Acts of Peace campaign isn't just doing random acts of kindness. The Nobel laureates have identified 10 key issue areas where if we work together, we can actually make a difference. It's about average folks being empowered to tackle the toughest issues facing the planet. It's audaciously ambitious. And yeah, so we're creating tools that don't exist now. We're creating a brand new way for people to be empowered to collaborate together and to solve problems.
Okay, well, in part 2 then, in the second show, I'd like to have you talk about some of those organizations, yes. What other people are doing, and how you're trying to fit everybody in together
yes.
to the greatest extent possible. But I'd also be really interested in kind of a micro level, examples of individuals, and what can an individual do? Because I think a lot of these challenges, people, especially young people, look at and often say, oh my gosh, this is way beyond my ability. And I think older people look at and have given up long ago sometimes. So we'll talk about that in part 2. So make sure you stay tuned for part 2 of our special 2-part series on Peace Jam.